quick intro here because I realized as I started editing this video, I never did an intro for this. So what's up everyone, I'm Kay, and today we're gonna be reading 3 hyped reverse harem romances. So I feel like reverse harem is really just having like a moment, especially on TikTok. Like a lot of people are really into reverse harems right now. And I do like reverse harems. I haven't read a ton of them, but every single time that I've read one, I've enjoyed it, and I think it's because I'm such a character-driven person, and in reverse harems, there are obviously a lot more characters to kind of get attached to. There is a huge list that I've been gathering of hyped ones, so I chose 3 and read those 3 in this video. So the first one that you're gonna see is going to be Scars by Dana Isley. I think that's how you say her name. So this one is like a contemporary one, it takes place in like our world, and it's like organized crime, kind of mafia-ish, with 3 guys, 1 girl. And then the second one that I read is Lords of Pain by Samantha and Angel Lawson. So this one is a really dark college bully romance one, and that again is 3 guys, 1 girl. And then the last one that I read is The Lady of Rooks Manor by Katherine, which, fun fact, got banned off of Amazon for a few days. Literally, why? Why this got banned, I have no clue, but it is back on. This one is 1 girl, and I don't even know. A lot of monsters. A lot of fun monster time. So that one is like paranormal fantasy-ish. I don't really know what that's classified as. I haven't really read anything with like vampires and shifters and I don't know, a bunch of like creatures. So anyways, you'll see all of my thoughts up ahead here for each of the books. There are spoilers for each of them because I can't talk about them spoiler free. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the vlog footage. So I started Scars last night by Dana. Is it Isley? It was described to me as being like Den of Vipers, but faster paced and like better, which I liked. Den of Vipers, I ended up giving that 4 out of 5 because like my enjoyment level was high on that. Like it was ridiculous, but I enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 stars. So I'm excited to see how this one goes, especially because I did like that, and so far I am liking it. It's already a much quicker, faster paced read. I will say though, however, with that, I don't love that already Scarlett is already being like, I'm very attracted to all of these men, which like I get it, obviously, like you can't help but be attracted to hot people, but I don't love the kind of like instant attraction that she's having with a lot of them. However, the plot itself, I'm already very interested in the fact that like someone from her family, that she thinks someone in her family hired someone to try to kill her, so she's been on the run since. That is intriguing, and I do really like the plot that we're getting. And I like the dynamic of the 3 guys so far. You kind of have like the leader, the funny one, and the really serious one. So, you know, I think that dynamic works well, and that's one of the things that I like most about reverse harems is that you kind of get like the best of all kind of characters in the group of guys normally. Like you kind of get everything that you like. Every kind of hero is normally in a reverse harem. So I do like that. Okay, this might be kind of nitpicky, but Scarlett, what chapter am I on? I'm on chapter 7, and Scarlett just said, talking about Emily, who she just recently got introduced to, and she literally says, quote, I was never a huge fan of girls as friends. They were too bitchy, too bratty. Okay, I don't necessarily love this. It's me being kind of picky here, but I don't like that kind of female character who is like, I don't like girls because girls suck and girls are mean and guys are way better. I'm much more of like a guy's girl. That just bothers me. So Scarlett right there saying that, and then she says, and Emily looked like a grade A bitch. It's like, okay, I get it. Some people just look mean, but I think it's something to be said that it's like another female character talking about a fellow female character this way. That doesn't necessarily sit right with me. I mean, it's small. It's obviously, I'm hoping it's not going to impact like the overall story and who Scarlett is as a character itself. Like I hope it doesn't turn into one of her personality traits, but I will just say I don't like that. I look like a hungry garbage. I just woke up from a nice little afternoon snooze, if you can't tell, and I need to run to the grocery store. I'm gonna grab dinner and I need to go to Target. But most importantly, I finished Scars like 4 days ago and never finished my update. And I think in my vlogs, what I'm gonna start doing is trying to do like wrap ups after each book rather than doing it all at the end, because then I just found like it was more filming time for me to then like have to sit down and talk about them all again, where if I'm more just like in the moment kind of doing random stuff and like being able to vlog that just kind of makes my life easier, and then it's all lumped in together in the video for you guys. So I think that's what we're gonna do moving forward here. Stop! Don't dump it over either. The cats see my contact case and immediately they just want to fling it off the table. Let's see. So Scars. Here's my like big dilemma with this book. I wanted to love it so badly. And also it's like an indie author, a first-time author. Like I love her TikTok account, and like I wanted to love it so bad. And it's not that I didn't like it, I just didn't love it as much as I think I've seen other people loving it. I do think that some of the world building, like there could have been more added in for these characters. And for me personally, now this is like my own personal enjoyment as a reader, I don't like insta love like at all. I really like a nice slow burn. I like a nice tension built, and with this, like as soon as these dudes kidnap Scarlet, she's already like into them. And she doesn't really fight her attraction at all, which I kind of, just for me personally, I would have liked a little bit more of a fight. I do like the characters, and I think the premise is interesting of Scarlet thinking that her family put the hit out on her, because I feel like that's just too simple. And I do like at the end that it left on a cliffhanger. Like I definitely am intrigued to read book 2. I just think that there was just something lacking. I felt like it was a very fast-paced, easy read, but I almost felt like it was a little too fast-paced. We're missing out on some of the character stuff that I wanted more of, or even more of like the plot and the world building of it all. So I'm kind of torn on it. I did end up rating it 4 stars on Goodreads because I would rate it, I think like I would rate it about like a 3.5. And if you know me, I don't like, if I'm like stuck at a half rating on Goodreads, I pretty much always bump it up, because it's just like this author put time into writing their book, especially for someone with this being their first book out. Like if I'm at a 1/2 star rating, I'm gonna bump it up a 1/2 because I just want to be supportive. I would give it like a 3.5 though out of 5. Like I did like it, I enjoyed it, I'm glad that I read it. But is it going to be something that I'm going to go back and revisit? No. But also I would like to read the sequel. There's never a point in the book where I was like, is this over yet? Or like I found myself checking how much longer was left. Like it just kind of blew by and I enjoyed my time in it. So again, like I don't want to be overly critical of my books all the time. Sometimes I just want to enjoy them, and that's kind of the case with this one. Now for the next book that we're on to. Saw a TikTok about the aesthetic of this book. So it intrigued me, and it's Lords of Pain by, it has 2 separate authors. I don't remember their names now off the top of my head. I'll mention them in like the next clip or something. Oh my god, I just had to remind myself as I started reading this, like, you don't condone this in real life, you don't condone this in real life, because these dudes literally first chapter dubcon. So if you are easily triggered by dubcon at all, like this book I think is gonna really test that. Like it literally did in the first chapter. Now I don't have any like human triggers. That sounds weird. Any human triggers whatsoever. My only triggers in books are animal violence. So I didn't see any for that. So this book I think should be in the clear for me. However, I think like people-wise triggers, there might be a few in this. Also with the way that they talk about women. If a man ever spoke about a woman in real life like that, we would not be conversing ever. Literally only on chapter 3. I already like the 3 dudes. That sounds bad to say that I like them. It's not like I'm like, oh my god, I love them, they seem like great men. I'm intrigued by them as characters and as like a trio. I will just say about this book, I don't think, starting from it right off the bat, this is gonna be a book for everyone. But I've seen so many people love it. It's a dark college bully romance, and it's gonna deliver dark and bully. Like I can just tell it is going to deliver on both of those, which like I'm kind of ready for, honestly. So far the writing's just like good. I just enjoy it. So I am excited to see how this all plays out. You know how you just get a feeling when you start a book and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good, like, or like I'm gonna really like this. That's how I'm feeling with this book here. All of my check-in's gonna be me looking like garbage and sitting in this chair getting ready? Maybe. I did some reading last night in Lords of Pain, which is why I wanted to update. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm thoroughly enjoying this book, because I don't feel like you should be ashamed for liking books or anything. I will just say though, I'm very much enjoying this book, even though I have to remind myself like 50 times each chapter, being like, if I met a man like this in real life, I would hate him. I would never be treated this way. I would never let another man treat a woman this way if like I saw this happening in person. The way they talk about women, and it's like, it's bad. But like in this setting, in this like bully dark romance, it's like kind of what I was expecting. And honestly, like, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. I don't know what to say. Also, look at how sunburned I am. The sun's kind of hard to tell, but I am so sunburned. You have any triggers in terms of like dubcon and sexual assault? Like, this is not going to be the book for you whatsoever, because every single scene, almost every single scene so far between her and one of the guys has been dubcon. And now that's something that isn't a trigger for me. It doesn't necessarily bother me. And in a dark romance, you know, I kind of like expect those scenes every once in a while. So for me personally, who reads dark romance, it's not anything new or surprising to me. But if you are sensitive to that, be warned, this book is full of it so far. Her and Killian just had a scene at the party where she goes upstairs and she like really tests him, and then he like, you know, with her boobs. That scene I didn't like. I obviously know that it's like dubcon. It's still just like, I didn't like that scene just in general. I don't love Killian. Out of all the guys normally he would be the kind of one that I would like. This like leader who has this like kind of claim on her but doesn't, and like kind of feels like he does in some way. Normally I think he would be the one that I'm kind of drawn to, him and Wrath, and I am definitely drawn to Wrath. But the one that I normally do not like in these kind of like reverse harems is the one that's like a little nicer. The one who kind of tries to like befriend her a bit in a way, even though like Tristan still sucks. But I'm finding myself liking Tristan actually, which I never would have thought of, especially after the first chapter in this book. Now he's kind of turned into like my favorite one of the three. I do just kind of like his dynamic with her, and I think he's very intriguing in the way that he's like this Iceman, but he's more about the mind games out of the three of them, which I think are the most fun to read. But I'm just enjoying the book overall. It definitely is not going to be for everyone. That's all I can say. Now that I'm over 50% of the way through, this is just a book that I don't think I would recommend to like a lot of my friends. I say I have 2 friends who read, and only one of them like just kind of started reading romance. And even so, like, I would never recommend this book to her, because I know I don't think she would get the whole, like, I don't think she's read any dark romance except for the Fallen Men series by Gianna Darling, which in my opinion is not even dark. Maybe Dead Man Walking, but the rest of them I'm like, that's not dark romance to me. So I would like never recommend this book to her, because I don't think she would like it at all. Like, it's intense, it's dark, it's mean, it's a lot. But for me, I like to have my boundaries pushed when I'm reading. I enjoy that, especially when I read so many books. I don't like to get stuck in the patterns of reading the same things over and over again, hence why I jump around to genres so much and I'm such a mood reader, because I don't ever want to get like in a slump. And this is definitely pushing my boundaries. Even though it's not the darkest book I've ever read, I would say it's one of the darkest bully romances that I've read, because it is like harsh. The whole stalker plot is interesting, and I'm interested to see how that plays out. And also there's layers with like Killian and the stepdad and story. So there's just a lot there in terms of story left to explore. And it's also the game for her virginity. You just know that that's going to backfire in the end. You just know it. And it's kind of like you're in on this bomb that's about to explode and you're just waiting to see it, which I don't mind. I'm kind of excited to see these guys get their shit rocked, hopefully, when she finds out about that. I'm in the middle of chapter 18, and Tristan just took Story to go see his twin sisters for lunch. And I just have to say, the thing that this book at least has going for it, that in the midst of all this really dark, like, dub con between the four of them and, like, the bully romance, at least it's aware of the fact that the guys are horrible, and never once do any of the characters try to make excuses for their actions, or does Story in her head ever try to justify their actions at all, like, to herself. Like, she was just talking after they left, and she said to Tristan, she's like, what are you gonna do when someone treats your two little sisters the way that you treat me? And he has no defense for it, because he knows that, like, he's a shitty person. He says, like, oh, not every guy is like me, and Story's like, but a lot of them are. And that caught me there in the scene, is they're just, like, talking very honestly about their experiences with each other, and Story in particular, and her interactions with these guys, and how it's just, like, not like a healthy, ideal situation. I liked that. I like that it's self-aware and not trying to ever justify their behavior, and that it is like, yeah, these dudes are horrible. So I finished Lords of Pain now, like a hot second ago. I don't know, I maybe finished it earlier on this week. It's like the end of the week. Let's just say I put aside my morals. I put aside every single bit of my morals, my feminism, like everything out the window, and I just let myself enjoy this book. And that's what I did. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Okay, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I already downloaded the second book. I haven't started it yet because I'm going to be going on vacation pretty soon here. So I think I'm going to take that one, like, I'm going to download it to read with me when I'm gone. Are the dudes absolutely horrible? Yes. Would I ever let a man treat me this way in real life? No. But do I eat the shit out of it in a book? Yes. I thought that the storyline was executed pretty well. Like, there's a lot going on besides her, like, just sleeping with these guys. You know, like, there's this whole stalker storyline with Ted, which I really like, and I'm interested to see who Ted is. I mean, I'm kind of thinking that it's the stepdad, but, like, I feel like that might be a little too obvious. But I like how it ended with her sleeping with Killian and then sending the picture to Ted to being like, come and get me, kind of. I like that, and I think that set up the second book really well. Like, I'm really interested. I thought the writing was good in this. I thought the world building was pretty good. I don't quite understand the whole, like, South Side thing. I'm like, are you organized crime? Like, are you crime bosses? Even though you're in college? Like, I don't really get some of that, but I'm just assuming that that maybe comes more in the other books and that it wasn't super prevalent to this one. I do hope that Story continues to grow more of a backbone. She always has one, and she's always in control, but I do kind of want to see her, especially with this Ted storyline, like, maybe take more of a offensive approach towards him. This kind of, like, exceeded my expectations, honestly. Oh, there was one thing that I didn't enjoy. I really didn't like that. Now I'm completely blanking on her name, but I think she was the Countess Luann. Don't be all uncool. Real Housewives of New York, anyone? And, like, she kind of befriended Story and, like, seemed nice and stuff, and I just hate that then she turned out to have ulterior motives with that. Like, there is no female friendship in this, or no other female characters in this besides Story, which, like, isn't my favorite. I do like, you know, some more female characters, because she is literally always surrounded by men and, like, these really powerful male characters, or, like I said, like, the women that we've been introduced to then end up, like, sucking. So I don't know, maybe she'll get a female friend in the second book, but I'm not holding my breath. Does this camera look better? Arya, do you want to say hi? Okay, don't paw at the phone. Does the audio seem better? I just got a new phone today. That's where I've been all morning. I literally spent 2 hours at Best Buy getting my data transferred from my phone, because, long story short, I, like, can't upload my stuff to the iCloud because my mom and I used to share an Apple ID. It's fucked. We don't know how to fix it, so I have to have them do, like, the data transfer from phone to phone. And that obviously took forever, but I got the iPhone 12 Pro Max, mostly because for this, I wanted, like, better video quality without investing in, like, a separate camera, because I don't know, I've gone back and forth on if I want to get a camera or not, and I think it would be nice, but also I'm like, if I can have really high quality stuff on a phone, so then I just have to have like one device, that kind of sounds ideal to me. So anyways, with all that aside, while I was at Best Buy, I had some time obviously to do some reading. I came prepared because I knew it was going to take a long time. So I took my Kindle with and I started The Lady of Rooks Grove Manor while I was sitting there, which trying to keep a straight, I mean, thank God, like I was wearing a mask, so like you couldn't see the bottom half of my face, but I was like, oh my God, I'm literally just reading monster sex in the middle of a store. From the first chapter, I wasn't so sure, or from the prologue, I was kind of like, I don't really know if this is going to be my thing. And because I don't really read a lot, I read fantasy or I read romance, but I don't read a lot of like fantasy romance, if that makes any sense. Never read something with like monsters or like shifters or anything kind of like this. I've read like Throne of Glass, Crescent City, From Blood and Ash, like that kind of fantasy, not like this. So this is very different, but I'm liking it more and more now. Is it basically just monster sex? Yes. Am I mad at that? Not fucking really. This is all staying up without a hair tie. That's how dirty my hair is. This is weekend hair. This is like day 4 hair when I like truly couldn't give two shits. So I am 62% in The Lady of Rooks Grove Manor. I really don't have too much to say about this book because it's just so much monster smut. Okay, I will say, it was feeling a little repetitive to me around the 40% mark. I was getting a little bored. However, then we went to the show with, is his name like, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it like August? But it has an E at the end, so I'm like, is it August? I don't know how to say it, but we're gonna go with August. That's how I've been saying it in my head. And the doctor, we went to the show with them. That was so fun. Like that, I was like, thank you for getting out of the manor, like getting a little change up. I really liked that. And I do think that the little subplot of like some of these like evil people trying to break in potentially, like kind of entertaining. Does the book really need it? Honestly, I don't know. Am I connected with any of the characters whatsoever? No, I truly don't care about any of them. So I'm not like emotionally connected or invested in this book. Like even with Lords of Pain, I wasn't like emotionally connected to any of the men. However, I still did have my favorites. Like I really did like Tristan and I liked Wrath a lot. In this one, I really couldn't care less about any of them. However, it's just an enjoyable story. Don't scratch the couch. Arya, no, stop. This little stinker, always scratching the couch. I truly don't care if she ends up with one, all, some, any of the men in this. And truly, I don't really care what happens to her either. I'm just like enjoying this. And I think that's how this book is meant to be taken. You know, it's just, stop scratching. Go to one of the 4 scratching posts in this house, please. As I was like starting to edit this video, I realized I'd never wrapped up Lady of Rooks Grove Manor. So let's chat about it quick. Again, I don't really have much for thoughts on this because it really like, there's no real, I mean, there's like plot. And honestly, I could have really done without it. Like at the end, this whole like villain that was kind of introduced, I was just like, literally what, like the whole point of him coming here is because he wants to assault Esther. And that's like it. I'm normally like really drawn into villainous characters, but him, I'm just like literally what's the point? Like there was no real build up for him or real backstory. I was kind of like, whatever. And honestly, there's no character development either, so I didn't feel like emotionally invested at all. It really was just like a fun, smutty monster sex time, and I'm not mad about it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very different from anything I've ever read before. I did end up giving it about like 3.5 stars, only because like I got bored at the end. I'd say the last like 20% I was just like completely bored with. And then at the end, like when they're talking about being happy and like finding arrangements, truly I couldn't have cared less about that either. I'm like, I know she's gonna go off and be with this man, and I don't really need this whole like send off and how it's gonna happen and the logistics of them working things out. I don't need that. But I did still really enjoy this book, and I would definitely recommend picking it up if you're thinking about it, because it's just fun. But just know going into it, you're really not gonna get anything but monster sex. That is the end of this video here. There are definitely way more reverse harems that I had on my list. I just kind of like chose, I had been gathering a list of like 10 10, and then I just kind of chose what I was in the mood for. So I definitely have more. So if people like this one, if you guys like it, I could definitely do more in the future. But you know me as a mood reader, I just have to be in the mood to read them. Perfect timing, the garbage truck just got here. I'm definitely gonna keep going in the Lords of Pain series, and I'm really excited to jump into the rest of those. So yeah, that's it for this reverse harem vlog though, and I will see you when I see ya.